Okay, game 4. This really showed just how bad the breakdowns are. So here is the teams, and I'm just going to talk about it right now, right? Just when you go into this game, it's the breakdown second game, it's the Freezer second game. They both lost. That's not a mystery. But I feel like walking away from this game, you can see hope for the Freezers and a lot of sadness from the breakdowns, right? Because Jimmy basically wanted to have a double slapping tower where height reigned supreme. And instead, what we found this game was how easily it was to counter just a set guard position next to the goal, right? If you're not going to move, if you're not going to do anything, it's just going to be super easy and super predictable, right? Because if the defense plays tight, and then you are going to try to play tight as well, as an offense, you're at a huge disadvantage, right? Their first game, Rob Scirocco really showed that stepping back allowed him to score a lot more. And then giving Joe some chances to get those sneaky backdoor ones in. But if your whole goal is to only backdoor, then they're only going to stand at that backdoor. Having two people literally guard man. If you watched my previous video, they did exactly what I recommended to do against the Rippers. So, yeah, it was really bad offensively by the breakdowns. I think the Freezers just did normal things. I think they're starting to get some type of momentum. I think the problem, I'll say this right now, just right off the bat, I think the problem is Jolly Olive. I think having him being point guard or the setter is not going to work long term. I think you need Ryan Cohen in there making more plays, doing more passes, right? Even Shelfie, he should be in there, right? I think having three people kind of running the ball primarily on a single play, is going to allow the defense to be very uncomfortable. I think Jolly and Zoe always having the ball is going to eventually bite them in the butt, because the teams that are thinking, oh, let me run two people with the ball as the setter and get them comfortable passing and looking for looks and knowing when to just ditch it, is going to go a long way, right? Not to mention that Justin Pennick is still trying to find his place, right? He had some good goals this game. We'll see if it really comes out. Ryan Cohen really made a statement that I think I know Slapball. I didn't really see it this game, not really impressed. But, he got a curveball, and so that's going to be something people are going to be lethal about. So here are the stats, right? If you want to take a look at them, pause the video, take a deeper dive. I have prepared tables and for us to look at. But, I just want to point out efficiency, right? Like when you have two players that are 0 on efficiency, that means that they attempted and scored nothing, right? If we just look at number 7, the number 1 overall pick, 3 chances, 0 scores. We look at number 5, 6 chances, 0 scores. Number 54, 8 slaps, and he scored twice. And then let's not mention Jimmy, who did 12 and 1. 12 and 1. Oh, sorry, 12 and 2. Sorry, my bad. 12 and 2. That's my bad. So it's not their best game, but what really frustrated me about this game, and we'll talk about that more in depth later, is just the amount of just solo plays that are going on, right? A lot of pump fakes and then just going in. I think the Rippers showed that's very effective, but I think the issue is that the Rippers can score when they pass. Breakdowns can't. So they don't care about the pump fakes. They don't care what you're trying to pretend to do. They know that you're probably going to take the shot. Freezers did the same thing. The difference is that when they threw it, they actually scored more often than not. I don't think their slap game was very impressive, but they scored, right? They got the back doors. They got these sneaky little power hits in. But the breakdowns, they need to show that they can score on pass, get more assists, and then try to do these trick solo plays. Because right now it's just not working, right? And I think Jimmy's trying too much, right? And I don't mean just in him. I think trying to make these plays work that aren't working. Right? I'm sure he's changing. I'm sure he's doing other stuff, but I'm not really impressed. So here's the advanced score, and I here's the table, right? Just a closer view of everything going on in terms of like each quarter and what they did, and how they scored with throws and slaps. But I wanted to make a board, like kind of like war a lot of these other baseball stats. I wanted to see who is attempting shots, who is scoring, and who is just wasting the ball, right? That's what I wanted to find out. And so what I saw with this number, right? So here are the raw data that I use. So you can kind of check what's going on here. Okay. And so what I saw is number 44 has the highest score, mainly because he slapped once, scored, and then he slapped once again the next quarter and scored. And then he went 1-0, 1-0 on throws, right? And so he's the highest person, but it's because he has 100% on slap. So he's huge boosted value, right? Because he's not getting a lot of attempts, but arguably, that's not a horrible thing, right? If you have someone that is scoring 2 to 3 times a game, 100% of attempts, it's either that means you need to use them more or you're using them perfectly and you just can't stop it. And then you know when to not use them. And then when you look at number 17 with a next high score of 120, right? His first half was incredible, getting a 200. That means that every time he threw and every time he slapped, he scored. Literally getting 3 points in that first half. His second half was not very good. He went 0-8. That was a negative 80 score. However, his first half really helped him, like you would think. Same thing with 76, right? 76 went 3-6, 0-1 for slap, right? 3-6 for throws, 0-1 for slaps, and then kind of reversed it basically in the second half, getting a score of 90, just showing how much he is a lethal threat. And then Shelfie, 0-2 and 0-2, right? So this shows you who should you be focusing on. Right? Like, here's how effective you are. Here's how you can improve your scores. You look at the blue team, it's all negative. It is so bad because, 0-2 for throws for Jimmy, 1-5 for slaps, 1-4 in throws, 0-1. Like, these are just not good metrics. But then the whole team is the exact same way. Also, if it's blacked out, that means they didn't attempt anything at all. So, look, like, the only person who's blacked out is slaps, and it's their goal/main thrower, right? So everyone's getting involved. Look at the blue team. There are people legitimately not doing anything in a combat form, right? Like in a scoring way. Like I see from this game, and if I went back and did the same analysis for the other 3 games, I guarantee you the big decider is how much involved you can get everyone in every aspect of it, right? Getting the slappers, getting the throwers, right? Get them involved and choosing your looks. That is what you should be doing. Well, let's look at the other side, right? Let's look at the defense stats. Here it is, right? Saves, attempts against the team. I did them in quarter and halves. I hope I didn't say quarters. The save difference, missed saves, and then final score. So Shelly, number 11, 7 saves. Everyone else had 1 or none. It's fine. But then you come over and you look at the blue team, and it's like Jimmy and the goalie both have the same amount of saves at 1, which isn't bad when you look at game 3. But the difference is that game 3 with the Rippers, you had the goalie and you had Luke having 5 saves. That means, they're both picking up balls, right? Here it shows that Joe is arguably off the goal is saving more than the actual goalie. Now, to be fair, in the second half, he picked it up a lot. But it's crazy. Here's what's crazy is that in that first half, there's the same amount attempted, 14. And the score was 7-2. That means that just by default, the blue team missed half of the saves by default. So there's 7 balls that just went straight in, and they only saved 5. So there are 2 that they just got completely lucky on. If we look on the purple team, they had 9 saves, 5 that they got, 5 that they were either lucky or got scored on, right? And I think 3 were lucky and 2 got scored on. Come on. That's a pretty bad stat. Now, here's what's even crazier, right? And I think this looks really bad because I think it ended 11-4. 6 saves out of 15. So that's 9 up in the air. They scored 2 more times. 7 attempts were just bad, either by error or by just complete missing it. Because that's how I do the stats, right? If you attempt and it's just nowhere near the goal, I'm not going to count as a save. I'm going to count it as an attempt. So the Freezers were able to get 19 more attempts on their goal. 4 more than them, right? Like, they just got 4 more shots. That is absurd. However, they did save 14. 14. Holy crap. They saved 14 balls. That's 5 up in the air. 4 scored. So only 1 time they got lucky. They're a defense-focused team. They figured it out in the second half. Like, what are we doing? Like, number 7 needs to pick up the slack, and you can see it here. Like, he started defending so much. Like, if this is just how he did it every single time, maybe they can't be very offensive focused. Maybe they do need to change some things. And I'll get into that here in a second. But, yeah, overall, they both had the same missed amount of saves, which is kind of an arbitrary value. I just kind of threw it in there to kind of just show the difference between them scoring and them being lucky is essentially the same, right? The shots that aren't being saved, they're in the same boat, right? And so only 3 of theirs completely missed, where the breakdowns, 10 of theirs completely missed. Like, that is just very bad across the board. So let's talk about what ended up happening in the game, right? And this is what I was talking about earlier, where game 3, I said, hey, this is how you beat the Rippers, right? You play this kind of comp. You eliminate the backdoor slap, but you also eliminate this whole hallway to bottom triangle area, and where you just make it completely frustrating for them to play. The Freezers pulled out the exact same strategy, literally having 2 people dedicated with their backs to the ball, just being a full defender against these slappers. And it worked amazingly. Like, it just made these 2 guys just do self slaps. And it was just such an undervalued play because it didn't do shit. But I can't leave you hanging, right? How does the breakdowns do? Anything, right? Because here's the situation. They charge in, and it's 2 against 1, and you can't really pass the ball. Like, you have 76 in the way, so you're all by yourself. You feel like you have to. You don't want to run away. That just looks bad, especially in terms of morale. And it sucks even more because you run in. Everyone else is like, yeah, let's see what happens, right? It's super bad. Like, everyone should be cycling. They should not be stopping. They should be working these guys. But they're doing this for fun. They're not athletes. You got to remember that. So, and yeah, this is kind of what I was saying. It's not a good play, right? Like, every way you can try to throw it, it's just not good. Whatever. So what can they do, right? At the end of the day, what can they do? So here is basically what they do every single time. And I think number 7 should always throw it. It's your top pick. He's your top goalie, right? He's apparently the top goalie. So do not make him, like, he should throw the ball every single time, just like how Shelly does, right? It just makes sense, right? For your team. Keep him there. If you do a rush play, he can be right there if you fuck up a slap. Okay? So here's what's going to happen. You charge in. Okay? What happens next? Complicated, I know. But hear me out. Now, 54 is going to beat his defender and go in the hallway. Right? Get on the other side. Now, number 17, I think people are just starting to play zone. Like, don't try to go man, because then they can just run around you and they get a free slap. So I think they're going to play tight. Then number 7 is just going to run in behind number 14. Okay? Like, if you're going to do an extended play, Here you go. Get number 7 involved. Because as soon as you move 54, if everyone's attention moves right, you could have 7 open. And vice versa as well. If they don't care about 54, then they're looking at 14 and 7, 54 is open, right? That's a mind game. Number 5 is nowhere in the play. Get him in the middle, right? Like if he's not an option because 76 has cut you off, then get in the open to be an option. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Okay, so 54 is beating number 17 because he ran through the hallway, can't block the hallway. 44 is squeezing 14. 76 is squeezing 14. 11 is staring at 14. So what can you do? Pump fake like hell. Obviously, that's what we've seen with the Rippers. However, your option 1 is you throw to 5. Right, 5 is in the play. That's why he's here, right? And then you throw to 54, and bam, boom, it's a charge slap, right? It's a power slap. Instead of a cross-court sneaky slap, you're just going to throw it at him, and he's going to redirect that shit. Option 2 is you just send it straight to 54, right? If 76 moves to 5, you got a clear hallway to just constantly try this play. Exactly what Jimmy wants to do, but the difference is that everyone's staring at you, not him. Right? Every time they have done it, everyone is staring at him as well as the other people. At least this way, you have multiple options. Number 3 is you throw to 7. This way, 7 can always take that shot, right? Now, he doesn't want to do the shady rate box. To me, just throw it to him. His plan for it's on the freaking square, and then he chucks it, right? Like, that's just what you do. Now, if you really don't want to do it, you can do this a few times, is you just completely pump fake it and you go 3B and then you send it to number 5. And then basically number 5 has 2 options, 14 or 54 instantly, right? Like instantly play. You throw to one of these guys and they do a charge slap straight into that goal. And 11 is screwed because 11 and 76 are going to be blocking their vision of 5. So 5 can basically make micro movements, do a blind pass, whatever fancy shit you want to do, and they can make something happen. So that's my advice to the breakdowns, right? This simple play. There you go. That's how you beat the freezers, right? That's the analysis of the game, right? This one ran a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, but I think this was just a tough game to watch. I think everyone kind of agrees with it, but it's nothing harsh against Jimmy or the breakdowns or anything like this. This is just fun and games, right? But that's the fun part about sports is talking and analyzing it and having a good time. But hey, if they want to not get relegated, right, this isn't a good look. And I think the key to not getting relegated is, pick your one game and try to go the farthest in. And I think with him going first in every single round and not doing better than last place, it's pretty bad. So I can't wait until for games 5 and 6 to see how the final scores end up before they go into their bracket tournament. Because right now, the breakdowns aren't going to win a game. I think that's my prediction. I don't think that this strategy really worked out. I think Lucas Diversa was not first round material. I don't think Joe's McFly was second round material, right? I think first round pick, you could have gotten a lot better people, like number 2 from the green team, Dalton. Like you could have gotten him clearly crushing it just by himself, right? You could have gotten Zoe. Who knows if he would be as good on your team, but just having that chemistry could be good. But now I'm just rambling. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Peace.